5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey! Hello, everybody. Hi there. It's me. Okay. And it's time for the Ramble. We'll be getting to our citizens panel in just a little while, but let's go out and do a call that we won't do every... I can't even talk today. That we do every couple of weeks. Ladies and gentlemen out there in Oregon, it's Ronnie Bennett. Once every 2 weeks, we check in with her and see what's happening with old farts.
With what?
Old farts.
Old farts. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. She has a blog called timegoesby.net, and
Yes.
it's a
Without
blog.
ads in front of it.
No
It's
ads.
not
No
with the
ads.
song, it's just time goes.
Timegoesby.net, and it's all about getting older, and it's really very good. I mean, even if you're not getting older, you want to read it to see what life's going to be like soon. Anyway, how are you, Ronnie?
I'm all right. It's been a rough week. It's been really not a good week since.
Not a good week. Wait a minute. It's only Tuesday.
No, I mean all of last week.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's been a very, very rough week. I have a drug that I have to take before I eat every meal.
Yeah.
It replaces the enzymes that my body doesn't make anymore because blah blah blah.
The pancreas, blah blah blah. Yeah.
And so this is. I forgot to turn off my email program, and it's going to keep doing this to us.
Anyway, don't worry about it.
And if I can't eat if I don't take it because food then causes pain.
Yeah.
So I was running out. I've been taking it for 2 years since the surgery.
Yeah.
I just take it in and they renew it,
Right.
If we're out of refills, they call the place for me and they get it done at the pharmacy. This time, my insurance company wanted to know something about the dosage because I get a lot of pills. Because even if I decide at 10 o'clock to have a snack, I have to take a pill before a snack.
Right.
So you use more than 3 a day. So sometimes. And this went on for a week, that they would call the medical place and nobody would ever get back to them or not with the right information. And then I tried calling several days, and somebody would say, I will track down the right person and have them call the pharmacy. It never happened. And meanwhile, the pills are disappearing. What do I do? Stop eating?
Yeah.
And so by Friday, it still hadn't been resolved, which means I gave up any snacks I wanted because I needed the pills for main meals. And finally, yesterday, I got the right thing. I called there's such a thing as a patient complaint center. I'm pretty sure they call it something nicer than that, but that's what it means.
Yeah.
And I called there, and the lady there took care of it. I don't know why I didn't think of that to begin with.
Yeah.
So I got my pills.
Well, there are all kinds of things that they do, like pre-authorizations for certain drugs and, whatever. And it's a pain in the ass. All you want to do is have your medicine that will take care of your particular problem.
What can you do?
Yeah.
And I still have these body aches and pains that wear me out by, noon or 1 o'clock. So.
Yeah. Well, I get up and I'm tired for the rest of the day. So, but I don't have a reason for that. You do.
Well, there's a reason that I named a couple of blog posts of cancer, chemo, or old age. Things go wrong and you don't know what caused it.
Oh, boy.
And I'm sure that happens even if you're not doing chemo and such, just old bodies, getting tired and things stop working right.
Yeah. So anyway, let's. You said you had a few things you wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about. I'm going to say it my way. Trump's racist speech at the 4 women.
Yeah.
Did you see all that?
Yes. It's pretty hard to believe, isn't it?
And he said, the next one after everybody complained, he said, yeah, but a lot of people agree with me. No kidding.
You know what? No, here's what he says. He always says that lots of people agree with me, and that's his justification. But lots of people agreeing with you isn't that all people agree with you.
Right.
You know.
And it's
he always
also,
years before
change when a president, depending on how a president presents things and repeats things,
mm-hmm.
also sets the tone of how we speak. And everybody speaks like Trump now.
What do you mean? We're all speaking fluent gibberish?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the thing is that to begin with, they say, well, no, he's not a racist. He has a black person in his cabinet.
I have a black friend.
Yeah. Oh, really? You have a black person in your cabinet? Okay, that makes you not racist. When you're telling anybody the racist trope of, why don't you go back where you came from? I mean, as a Jew, I even heard that when I was growing up from racist kids.
When we were young, and the go back to where you came from was very big in the 60s civil rights movement.
Yeah, well, OAC said that means I'll have to go back to the Bronx. Yeah.
I don't think he knew that 3 of those women were born here because he doesn't read. And it's not like when you're giving a speech, you say, hey, I was born in America, And I think he didn't know when he said that. I mean, how else would you say it?
And the other one,
how else would you say that?
The other one, the Somalian, is a citizen of the United States of America.
Naturalized citizen, yeah.
So, I mean, you don't say that to somebody who's a citizen. I mean,
that's right. I mean, how would they feel any different than if somebody stopped you or me in the street and told us to go back to where we came from? We're here. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. I mean, this woman came from Somalia at age 12, I think, because her parents were fleeing the country.
Yes.
Just such a dumb man, and just so terrible, and so racist, and so white.
That's what it is. So white. Yes.
I mean, I feel almost ashamed to be white. You
get that way with people like him,
Yeah, I mean, he's bespeaking he's really, this is the most racist he's ever gotten. This is overt.
Yes.
Okay, this is overt.
This is way across the line, unless that guy, what his name is, Kevin McCarthy, who's, I can't remember if he's a senator or a representative, who was defending him this morning.
Yeah. And I couldn't even see how they could defend him. But they were all white people up there, and to a white person, that isn't racist, except to this white person and that white person.
The other thing is that Kellyanne Conway, the White House, I don't know what she does there.
She doesn't either.
She defied the subpoena that was issued in regard, her being accused of Hatch Act, of not. You know what I mean. She didn't show up for her subpoena yesterday at the committee, and she said that Trump told her not to go. And there's going to be a vote probably this late today. This is Tuesday. We're recording this Tuesday, the 16th, to hold her in contempt of Congress. They always do this, these Democrats. I'm really tired of it. If you're convicted of defying a subpoena, it requires a jail sentence, and the Democrats just let everybody go. They don't do anything.
It's a slap on the wrist.
It's not even a slap on the wrist. What does anybody in the Trump administration care about being, condemned by Congress but keeping their job?
Yeah.
And it's going to happen again. I just don't get why they don't do anything. I understand why the Republicans who are afraid of Trump condemning them don't do it. It makes them chicken and I don't like them. But but I don't get the Democrats.
Well, God forbid he should win the next election, and they have to deal with him, and that's what they think. They don't want to have to deal with Trump. They're afraid he is such a bully that they're afraid of being bullied by him.
Who's the they you're talking about?
The Republicans that you're talking about.
Oh no, they just don't. Yeah, I mean,
they don't want they don't want to be bullied by.
I
him.
understand that, but I don't understand the Democrats though.
Yeah,
makes no sense that they vote to condemn somebody and then go on with normal business. They never arrest them, they never hold a trial, they never put them in jail.
Yeah,
and I don't understand.
I don't.
They would.
I don't understand it either. But I mean, that's the ineffectiveness of the Democrats. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about right now.
It's a party. It's a party of the wimpy.
I guess so.
And I don't know. I got to say to the Democrats, what's worse, being like a Republican and falling into lockstep with Trump, or being a Democrat and being so weak against Trump that you don't go ahead and say, okay, Kellyanne, you're spending the night in jail?
Well, the result is the same, isn't it? Or close enough.
Well, pretty much. It's exactly what Trump is counting on.
Yeah.
So.
I want to lighten this up a little bit.
Okay, let's lighten it up.
These are our daily troubles and tribulations of our country. But a couple of nights ago, you had a blackout.
Yes, we did.
You were far enough away, I think it didn't affect you at home.
We didn't even know it had happened. Okay.
If you had TV on, there was what looked like a 14-year-old girl reporting from near Rockefeller Center, where everything was dark. Yeah. And, I mean, this happens when you get old. Even people up until about 30 look like they're high schoolers. Yeah, right. And this girl is out there, and right behind her in the shot was Radio City Music Hall. Yeah. And she kept referring to it as Radio City Hall. Just every time she did, if I was only half paying attention, I would sit up.
She's probably not from New York.
The name of that place. And then she pointed across the street to the building right across the side street. I think it's 51st from Radio City. Yeah. And she said, and that's 30 Rock. No, it's not.
No, 30 Rock is...
30 Rock is on the other side of Radio City Music Hall. And it just makes you crazy.
Wait a minute, now, is she working for NBC, this woman?
Yes.
Then she should know where fucking 30 Rock is. She has to go to work there every day.
No, just thank God. Listen, but about the blackout. Yeah. I was amused and interested to know that it occurred on the same day that the 1977 blackout happened.
That's correct.
Do you remember that blackout?
Let me see here. Was I here? I'm trying to remember. Was I here? I guess I was still here. Yes, of course I was.
I'm going to recount that day to you.
Oh, I remember it because we were somewhere and we were waiting for our lights to go back on, and we were almost the last department for the lights to go back on.
Well, that's not what the story is about.
Oh, okay. What's the story about?
I was sitting at home, doing whatever at the computer, and all of a sudden the computer went off and the radio went on.
Did we have a computer then? I'm trying to remember if we had a computer then.
No, we didn't. So this is a later blackout.
Oh, the later blackout, the one where you lived in the apartment that you had to go downstairs for, right? Where I spent the evening.
Well, wait, let me tell the story.
Okay, go tell the story.
But whatever the year was, whichever blackout. Yeah. I'm really sorry it wasn't the same day. I'm just sitting there at home on the computer. The computer stops, the radio stops, any lights I had on stopped, and I knew what it was. We've had blackouts before. Mm-hmm. So who knows how long they'll last. So I checked the fridge, and I went to the corner bodega and bought up bread and other things that didn't need to be refrigerated if it lasted a long time. Yeah. Before they were all gone, and brought those home. And now what? Nothing works, and we're so accustomed even then to our electronics. So then there's a knock at the door. And I've forgotten the order, so I can't. Doesn't matter. I go to the door and I open it up, and there's Stanhope, the man that I once worked with and dated for a long time. Mm-hmm. And he was living in Brooklyn then, which I hadn't known. And he said it was a long walk back to Brooklyn. Could he stay with me for the duration? Sure, come on in. So he comes in and we're getting settled. And there's another knock at my door. And I go there, and it's you. And now I have to preface this with, I have always been very careful to keep the men in my life separate from one another, even if we're no longer dating, but friendly. And there was nothing I can do. I mean, you said, I live way up on, 477th Street or something, and can I come in and stay? Okay, come in. Stanhope, Alex Stanhope. Well, you guys started telling, you have to know that he's a television news producer who's produced some of the most famous things you've ever seen on Cronkite's News. And you're a radio talk show host. Well, now you're telling, both of you are telling war stories and trying to one-up each other. That stopped. When it got nighttime, we went out and walked around the neighborhood just to see what it was like. And had ice cream at that place was giving away their ice cream because what are you going to do? You can't freeze it anymore.
Right.
And and we did that and came back. I got tired. You guys are telling war stories again. So I went in the bedroom and went to bed. I wake up a normal time later, and you guys are still up telling war stories.
Yeah, I had a nice time with Stanhope. I had a nice time with him that night. I really did. I remember it always.
Well, I wasn't so sure you guys should both be in the same room together.
Well, we got along okay, And we didn't. I don't think we even talked about you. So, I mean.
That's what I was worried about.
Well, that was about. When was it? It had to be like 2002 or something like that. Because I was working. I thought it was 1977, but you're right. I wouldn't have had a computer yet. Yeah, right. The one that happened, the 77. I don't think we were together any longer, and I don't know where I was. But I was outside the city. Maybe I was at my friend Shecky's. I can't remember. And I kept calling around trying to figure out if our apartment had gotten its lights back because they said they were restoring, and they were doing it in a circle, an inward spiral circle. And you know where the end of the spiral was?
In the middle.
My apartment was the last apartment to get its electricity.
Well.
Yeah.
It's always hot when blackouts happen, too, so you're just miserable.
Yeah, well, this one, I don't know what they haven't said what caused it, but it was a bunch of relays that went to protect each other. Or something.
I don't know what caused it. I wouldn't understand if they told me, I'm sure,
Yeah.
Also, have you heard this story that more than 1 million people have signed up to storm Area 51?
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
We need a laugh in these times,
Well, it turns out the guy who started this little let's go get these people.
He started it as a joke.
Well, he started as a joke, and finally when he saw it was being taken too seriously, he said, it's only a joke, folks. Because the government was ready to muster up the army and then whoever to guard the place.
They said that the army was there, and prepared for them. And it's supposed to be just an Air Force training area. So, I don't know anything about how those rumors got started or anything. But one news story I read made reference to those things in the sky that pilots have been seeing in the past month or so.
Yeah.
And so there must be aliens at Area 51, I think is what that person was trying to say.
Yeah.
So, think there are aliens at Area 51?
From what I understand, the only thing about Area 51 and the reason it was so secretive is that they were doing some secret work there, but it didn't have to do with aliens.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean,
You know how easily everything about all of the political stuff gets It gets leaked if it's worth knowing.
Yeah.
It always gets leaked.
Right.
If there were aliens at Area 51, it would have been leaked by now.
Well, here's the thing. I have always felt that the belief in UFOs is very egotistical. You know, this is a rather vast universe. We are but a mere speck in that universe. And the notion that we are so important that they have found us and they are coming to see us is really quite egotistical. The fact is, they would probably look at us and go, those are roaches, aren't they? You know.
You don't know because you don't know what aliens are like.
Well,
maybe aliens look like roaches.
Well, but we also have a concept of what an alien is, and that they have some kind of biological similarity to us, and they don't.
Why should they?
There is life elsewhere in the universe, but it may be plant life, or it may be sea life, or it may be algae or bacteria or whatever, but it may not be what we've evolved to. Maybe we're the most evolved species in the universe. We don't know that.
That'd be a shame.
Well, if we are, the universe is in for a bad time.
Yes, it is.
You know, I mean, that's pretty terrible.
But I thought more than 1 million people, they must be really tired of politics.
Well, you know, I was watching this thing they did on the BBC in England called The Planets, in which they deal with each of the planets and what life might be there and what life might not be there and how it was formed and when it was formed and all of that. And they're talking in terms of 4 billion years ago. And I'm going, I am such an insignificant speck in the overall picture. And so is everybody else sitting on this big blue marble, okay? That we should...
It's what Michael Tyson, what is his full name? Michael, he's got 3 names. And we are all stardust. Isn't that lovely?
Well, we are, probably.
We are, for sure.
Yeah.
But isn't that a lovely way to put it?
Yeah.
We're all stardust.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe that's what we go back to, is being stardust.
I think I was wondering the other day if there's a little corner of the universe where I belong and will be comfortable after I go.
Well, it might be.
If there were such a thing.
We don't know. Let us know, will you?
As everybody has said to every dying person ever.
You know, let us know. Send back a message of some sort. You know. Well, you remember what Houdini's wife did. They went around for years debunking mystics. You know, people who would say, "Oh, I see your relatives. Yes, they're up there. They love you. They're sending a message." And then somehow Houdini would prove them to be fake. And so when he died, before he died, they agreed that if he could possibly get some kind of message back to her, he would, and he never did.
No,
okay, but for years she would go to these seances and continue to disprove them, and none of them ever, you know, all of them were debunked completely. But if Houdini couldn't get back here, the world's greatest escape artist, I don't know if we have that ability. You know.
Well, you see, he'd spent his whole career escaping rather than returning to whatever he escaped. I
see. That's you're so good. You're so good at that. Oh, my. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, I think he kept trying to reach his mother because he loved his mother and his mother had died. And they were constantly going to these seances. And they've, you know, some guy behind a curtain going boo, making noises and things like that, and literally disproving them. And they hated him. They got to the point where they wouldn't even do a seance for him.
Hated it.
The mystics, the seance doers, you know, whatever you call them. Crystal ball gazers.
Don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, so... You're feeling okay?
Yeah, I've got these pain problems I'm still working on.
Yeah.
They wear me out, so. And I'm letting my hair grow rather than, shave it down. But, you know, there's a big part of me that loves that I don't have to do anything with hair in the morning.
Yeah. But you also can't go.
Well, I don't know that I ever did
You
that.
always wore your hair kind of short.
But it still takes work.
Yeah.
And there's every Tuesday, my blog post is a story that a reader has written and sent in.
Yeah.
And today's is by Anne Burek Weiss, who lives in New York City in the Village.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called My Comfort Zone. And she's talking about as she gets older, she only pretty much does what makes her comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a wonderful thing to let go of having to do your hair. And of course, all bald men know that. You don't have to comb your hair anymore.
Well, certainly we will put on the list of good things about cancer. That. Okay.
You got chemo and you won't have to do your hair anymore.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, I guess I pushed a button when I shouldn't have pushed a button, and we stopped the interview a little bit early, but we were also having problems with the interview. It looks like when I recorded it today, it didn't do a very good job of recording it. It kept, the audio is fine. For all you people out there who were listening to the audio only, the audio was terrific, okay? But the problem I was having was with the video, which seemed to be freezing up, doing stuff like that. But the audio was just fine, so, let me put this on here. There we go. I went to the bathroom, and then while that was on, and I took this off because it doesn't work too well when you're on the bathroom. And I need this to kind of keep myself warm because I got the air conditioning in on here, and it's working great today. Certainly better than it was with the old air conditioner. Today it hit, let's see, what temperature did it hit? I think we hit about 91 or 92 here in New York City. And I don't know what it is for the rest of you out there. But anyway, so see, we're smooth now. I can't even really freeze. At this age, I shake too much. I can't do it. Can't do the freeze. Okay, anyway. Waiting for your calls. I opened up the lines, for Christ's sake. Who knows? I certainly want to hear from you folks out there, and we can then have a little Happy Fizzies party here with our citizen panel. We got some people watching. We got some people now. We need is some people to call, and we can talk to you. Listen, I'd like to hear from Charlie tonight, especially. But first, we go to, let's see here. We answer this, and it's Scott Boddicker, who I can put in the first slot. There he is. Okay, all right. There is Scott Boddicker. And wait a minute, now I've got to put Josh Wheeler. Oh, here comes Josh. All right, Josh and Jeff Stein. Okay, so now 2 is going to be Josh. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got. Wait a minute. I've got a. Boy, what? I'm having trouble here. Oh, wait a minute. And there we go with Charlie Wallace. Now here, hold on a second, folks. I gotta see if I can find you people. Well, there's Charlie Wallace. Okay, I'll put Charlie in the second slot. And in the third slot, we'll put, hopefully, Josh Wheeler. There we go. Okay. And then, let's see here. Phil is calling, and then we got to go, wait a minute, into the sixth spot. We got him in there. All right. Who do we have? Who did we have in 4? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, that's fine. And then 6 was Phil Meyer the last time, so he's in the 6th spot. We need to fill the 5th spot. Let me now do this, okay, and everybody can see what I'm talking about. There they are. That's the beginning of the citizen panel for us this evening. And Phil, you're making a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm on the iPad trying to.
Why are you on the iPad?
I'm in Denver.
Oh, why are you in Denver?
I'm preparing to drink the Kool-Aid and wear the fez at the Carbon Convention.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's the Sons of the Desert meeting.
Yeah. We're all going to get our edibles and go back and sell carbon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're in Denver. Yeah, you can go buy edibles there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
You can buy them in California too.
Well,
but,
of course.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
Well, you don't do pot, do you?
No.
Why? Might help. Might help, Phil.
I think it's a waste of time. You know, I don't like. I don't like just wasting time like that.
Well, what do you mean wasting time? What do you
when
got?
You're stoned, when you're stoned, you're nowhere near as aware or as productive.
Yeah. It lets you. It lets you chill out.
Well, if I want to chill out, I'll go ride my motorcycle or go scuba diving. You know.
Yeah. Some people have been known to do their best work when they were, you know, drunk or
they
high.
think they
Well,
do their best work.
My old friend Bill Hicks, while he was alive, said that if you love the music you're listening to, if you love the artwork you're looking at, just remember all those people were high when they created that.
Yep. Yeah, you know,
And,
there was a lot of music during the '70s that you had to be high just to listen to it.
Well, I mean, you know, if Warren Zevon had never started drinking, would you even know who he was? You know.
Yeah, exactly. If Ray Charles wasn't a heroin addict,
Good.
would he have been as good as he was? In fact, when he quit heroin, he got lousy. You know, I'm not telling people go out and do heroin and you're going to be like Ray Charles. Very few people are, but you know.
Yeah, well, I'll run right out and get some.
Well, it wouldn't hurt you, Phil. Wouldn't hurt.
Really.
Well, I have this vape. I do one toke out of it every night. Put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Lately, I haven't been taking any Xanax or any pills that make me drowsy. Just doing a little bit of the pot, and that puts me right to sleep, and I sleep a solid 8 hours. You know, so that's good.
Well, I just start talking to my girlfriend, and I fall asleep, or I just put the rerun of Gabnet on, and I'm out like a light.
Yeah. Well, I do have a problem. I do have a problem with night terrors. But then that's because I turn over and I look and Marjorie's there. But, you know, it's...
you should be so lucky.
I'm sorry, Marjorie. I didn't mean... Oh, yeah, right, Scott. Oh, well, here comes the divorce. You know.
Who gets the apartment?
Huh?
Who gets the apartment?
I don't know who's going to get the apartment because I'm telling you, this thing just keeps going on and on. Today they had another meeting... And you know what was decided at the meeting today?
You were going to be billed $4,000.
No, that it's going to trial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that it's going to trial.
That's a scam. They're just.
I don't think so. These guys are just they're stupid. They're really assholes. I mean, these are the hi there, Tony. These are it's not us. It's the other two of them that keep fighting with each other and saying we want to go to trial.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
if you go to trial, it could cost you $30,000.
Well, that's what it's going to cost me.
Yeah.
You know, we're so far invested into this thing to the tune of about $55,000 that you know what, we're going to back out now.
Yeah, but
and then
you're in it what $1,000 a month for the amount of time.
Yeah, but now if we add another $30,000 to it, it ain't getting so cheap. You know.
No.
The only
And
good thing,
you
the only
You
thing.
got to get the money from the guy.
Well, I would if we had settled, we wouldn't have. If
Yeah.
this thing goes to trial, we can. We can say we want our money for our defense and so on. We're taking it from a loan that Marjorie has on her house, on her apartment, a home equity loan that she can use for anything she wants to, by the way. And so we're using it for this. But I mean, if then the landlord loses, which he's going to, big time, okay?
Yeah.
He can appeal it.
Right. And that'll
And
cost.
an appeal costs you even more money. And my question is how, we can't quit. So we're going to have to go out
Yeah.
and borrow the money or beg and steal the money from somebody or whatever,
Can you get this attorney to do it for a portion of the winnings?
No.
No. Nobody will take it that way.
No, it's not. They're not going to do it pro bono. And
Not pro bono.
Well,
They
I mean,
take,
excuse me. On contingency,
based.
you don't want
Contingency,
you don't
yes.
want a lawyer on contingency. You want a lawyer you're paying who just works his ass off for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully we'll be just fine. And let me. I got to go to the next thing we got here. Let me see here. What do we got? What do I need? I got 6. I got 8. Okay, so I need to. We already lost. Tony went somewhere. Let me see here.
He went to massage his mother's feet.
Thanks, sir.
I can help her in the bathroom. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Tony
She
got
got
a
the
haircut.
wheelchair.
What, you're taking
I
your
got a
mother
haircut.
to the bathroom? Oh, I can hardly wait for that. Take
Oh,
us
boy.
with you. Yeah. Hello there, Kevin. How are you? Let me see here. Let me go there. There we go. There are a bunch of you guys. All right. Got room for another one if anybody wants to call. Anyway, so this thing. The question is, it's too late to back out now. Let me put it that way. And there is a payoff for us in the end, but it's a big deal.
Now, you see, the problem with the payoff is that you'd be going after the guy you rented from, right?
Well, no,
And
we're going.
the
We're going.
guy
after-
you-
We're
the
going.
guy-
after,
well,
we're go,
the
we're go, no,
landlord has
we're
no
not.
responsibility.
We're not. We're going after him, yes, but we're also going after the landlords.
Right.
What did the landlords do to you?
We believe they knew what was going on and they did nothing about it, so therefore they're complicit.
It's going to be a tough one.
No, it's not a tough one. Under New York law, it's very easy to prove.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fact
well,
the fact that we moved in
Yeah.
and the super, who is the on-site representative of the landlords,
He helped you.
opened the gate, helped us up, knew we were moving in, and nothing was done about it. Okay.
That's because
no,
you
Phil,
said that they
Phil,
could
are you
sublet
a lawyer?
a year.
Are you a lawyer?
I know lawyers.
Well, my lawyer says this makes them.
I got friends
This
that are
makes them.
lawyers.
This makes them quite complicit in the whole situation.
Okay.
That they were aided and abetted the illusory tenancy of the other
Jeff
guy.
sleeps with a lawyer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, she probably doesn't do landlord-tenant law, which is a very
No,
big,
Not particularly.
which is specialized here in New York City.
Yeah.
But it's just here's what I hate about the law. Okay, who are we? We are people of limited resources. Let's say. I mean, we're lucky that she has an apartment that we can borrow money on and so on, and pay for this. Okay, but nevertheless, because this keeps going on, and I mean, it went. First, we were in depositions, and then we were in and this went on over 6 years, right? Depositions, and then mediation, and then mediation before a judge, and then now this. I mean, one thing after another, after another, after another. I mean, we've spent $55,000 so far, and
Didn't the
there
judge,
should be
basically-
something in the law. There should be something in the law that makes this simpler for for people who are just victims of the situation.
Last
There you
time,
go.
last time you were excused from the
No,
from the
the-
thing
the
because the
one
judge
today-
said that you were the
Yeah.
victim. And
The
so
one
forth.
today, yes, but that was a mediation judge. Now we're
Right.
going before
Oh,
another judge altogether.
Different judge. Because
Yeah.
maybe they said to themselves, "Look, it looks bad for us, so we should ask for jury trial and see if we can, maybe convince a jury."
No, the reason
because you can't convince that
but
judge.
you see, that's not the case, Phil.
No.
The reason there's a jury trial is because these two assholes can't agree with each other. Okay, we're sitting there. I described it to my lawyer as we're kind of like two people watching a tennis match, and we have a bet, and we want to see if we're going to collect on the bet. Because we're just sitting there like the children of a divorce where the parents are arguing with each other. And then we want to see who wins and who loses, and probably we as individuals will win. I mean, our lawyer says, you're lucky it's going to trial because you're probably going to get more out of a trial than you would out of a settlement.
You have to.
Yeah. So he said their risk is higher, but these guys are, they have deep pockets, and they're slum lords. Okay.
Do they know how old you are?
They probably have an idea.
Okay, or they did some research, maybe a wiki page or something. The reason I say that is they may be just hoping that you don't live out the lawsuit.
It doesn't matter. We're not their prime concern.
Well, if you went away, the other guy could settle.
No. They can't settle. That's why we're going to court, Phil. That's the reason why there's a trial. Is because
Well, they can't
these
settle
two,
because they're going to owe you.
because they can't settle.
No? All right.
Okay. So somebody's
They
going to
got-
have to
they
pay
got
somebody's going to have to pay somebody, and then we're going to swoop in and grab whatever
Yeah.
somebody gets. I mean, it's a three-way deal here, Phil.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Marjorie's still around. She can carry it on.
Yeah.
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 It ain't going away.
You assume I'm going to die before her.
Well,
She's only like what,
No,
35?
I'm just going on by what Phil said.
Well,
I mean,
Well, you keep making comments like
Wait a minute.
that.
you're,
Before her. Why you made it?
you're breaking up on us a lot there,
Charlie.
Charlie.
Oh,
Could you hang up and just call right back in?
sure.
Yeah, do that. You might get a better bandwidth situation. Either that or move yourself closer to the router. I don't know. But no, all I'm saying, Phil, is it's not us. It's them. And if we were not part of this whole thing, they'd still be going to court and fighting each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
George Costanza said that. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the that's the problem. So are you there, Charlie? There we go. Talk to us now.
Y'all are crystal clear to me, so
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a problem.
Where's your router?
it's in the living room on the other side of that wall.
Oh, maybe that's one of the reasons it breaks up a lot, But anyway, what you should do sometime is hardwire your router into your machine from the other room. I do that all the time. I have nothing but hard wiring around the house. Wi-Fi works fine, but you've got to have a good signal, So, but anyway, yeah, I want to live long enough to see this thing taken care of. But how many years will I have once it is settled? I mean, I see that if they went to appellate court, if they went to appeals, that's 2 years down the line. Okay. The trial as it is now is in September.
Yeah. Well, is there a possibility you'll get a lease if they on the first trial, and then if the judgment goes to appeal, you're still in
if
there?
it goes to appeal, then we're not going to be doing. We won't get a lease, no, until they appeal it. But as to whether they appeal it or not is how much their damage has been, and how much the more they want to commit to it.
I'm just worried that the guy that rented you the place has already hidden all of his assets.
Well, we're worried about that too.
Yeah.
Because my lawyer
he pulls
said
a bankruptcy
is if we
and,
try to get money out of him and he goes into bankruptcy,
Yeah,
forget
it's all
it.
for naught.
It's all for naught. Yeah. So although I don't know if you go into bankruptcy if you can avoid a court settlement.
Yes. The only thing you can't avoid is payroll taxes and sales tax.
No, but I'm wondering
Student loans.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
if you're solvent and all of a sudden you're found guilty of something, and you lose in court, if you suddenly can go into bankruptcy at that point.
Well, you could, but you can't hide your assets for the bankruptcy. That's illegal. But if he's had 5 years to hide his assets, then there's a settlement or a judgment.
Yeah, well,
and
we
then he goes
were
bankrupt.
arguing that we bet that his home in Connecticut, right, isn't in his name.
Right, it's probably in his wife's name, but you can find that out very quickly.
Well, if you can prove that was done as a canard to prevent, the assets from being seized.
If 5 years go by, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Anyway, I don't know what's going to happen, but what the
You always have the guy whacked.
What the fuck?
It's hard to collect a settlement on a dead guy.
It's always
Yeah, but you
it's
feel a lot
it's
better.
only money.
Fucker.
You don't have these kind of problems, do you,
Just
Scott?
swim with boots on.
Scott doesn't have problems like this,
What?
What?
You mean Daddy Warbucks?
I heard my name.
He just sits down there in Plano, Texas, and just enjoys the good
I'm
life.
still in Iowa, man.
Huh?
I'm still up in Iowa.
Oh, you're still up in Iowa.
Second
Okay.
week.
How hot is it in Iowa today?
Right now, I'm sitting on my sister's porch. It's 72.
Wow. Wow.
72.
It's 108 here in Mesa.
Let me see here. What's the temperature here in New York City?
They said Denver was hot. I haven't been outside.
I'm trying to look here to see what the temperature is, but it won't come up. So.
They say it might hit 100 Saturday.
Yeah.
98 Friday.
Yeah.
So you turned on your air conditioner the other day and you blacked out all of Midtown.
Yeah.
I heard Broadway went dark.
Yeah, I told him this place is very badly wired. What is that? It's 108 in.
Right now. It's 115, 4 o'clock this afternoon.
I don't know how you can live in
Don't leave the
Arizona.
house, Charlie.
I
I would
just
never
don't-
leave the
I
house.
love it.
It's a dry heat.
Yeah. Can fry an egg on the side.
Yeah.
You don't even know you're sweating.
I wonder, can you fry an egg on the sidewalk? Has anybody tried that?
Could in I wanted to do that in Vegas. I wanted to crack an egg and see if it would go, Alex. Maybe on a
They'll
car
arrest
hood.
you.
On a car hood, it might because it's metal.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. I said they wouldn't let me do it, but I was like, I want to see if it works as a sign. I think it would have. I like when it rained there. The people were actually like amazed it was raining there because I guess they don't get rain out in the desert. It's like it's very rare.
Yeah, it's only 82 here in Denver
Really?
right now.
Son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
Oh,
Well, it was 90.
tomorrow's
It was
97.
91, 92 here today.
Yeah.
I went down.
Wednesday-
I went down to go work out, and by the time I got to the gym, I was sweatier than I was when I left the gym.
It was the humidity.
But the humidity wasn't that bad
That's-
today, but the heat
I'm
was.
glad I'm not in the warehouse.
it was
Alex. I feel
bearing-
over 100 degrees.
Also, I don't know. Somebody somewhere in Harlem tore down the trees on 116th Street.
Oh, no
I mean,
shade.
there were no really. There's not a lot of shade, you know, and so when you walk down the street, it's even hotter because it's like you're walking on a fucking griddle, you know, which is terrible. So.
You need a food.
So I'm trying to figure out whether I want to do a show on Thursday because my friend Walter Sabo has asked me. He's going to do the Jim Bohannon show, which is on, I guess, is Mutual still around? I don't know who Jim Bohannon is on now, but he's on 300 stations. He wants me to come on and talk to him about Woodstock. And he says, well, he has 300 stations that he's on, and it'd be a good way to plug Gabnet. Yeah. And I went, I don't know. I don't really give a shit. So I'm thinking about whether I want to not do a show on Thursday and go do that.
Hey, that's the first bit of advertising that you've done. The show you did for Walter, it was on a number of stations, but I don't know what his audience is. This guy, I think I've heard of him, and I think he has a bigger audience.
Oh, he has a big audience. But do I really care about plugging this anymore? I don't know. I don't know that I really care.
Be nice to get 1,000 subscribers.
Well, eventually I will. I'll drop dead, and everybody will do it just to be in memorial.
Gabnet memorial subscription.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Fuck it. Just fuck it. I feel like that. So anyway, plus I don't know. I'm getting very tired lately. I have a hard time getting through 2 hours of this every night. So I don't know whether it's my age or whether it's a certain depression that I'm currently involved in, because of things in my life. But I'm tired all the time.
Why don't you do an hour and have Jack move up his show?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. What I'm going to do. That would be admitting defeat.
No, not necessarily. That would be saying, hey, it's time to start enjoying life a little bit.
Yeah.
And do stuff that you like to do. And if something is a grind.
I haven't got the strength to do that, No, but and Marjorie thinks it's depression, so.
Could be.
Well, because I've just been going through some stuff, and it's not fun,
Yeah.
Charlie Walsa hit 115 degrees in Mesa, Arizona today.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let me change the subject since we have Charlie here. What?
Oh.
And I want his opinion. Is our president a racist?
Hell yes. Listen to what he says.
Why don't you read what he said?
Yes, we did read what he said. He's a racist.
No, you only read part of it.
Oh, I see. What did you read, Phil?
Well, I read the part that said, if you don't like it here, go to another country. And then when you figure out how to fix their problems, you can come here and fix these.
Yeah. What country would that be exactly, Phil?
You didn't quite read it right, though, Phil.
Harlem.
Yeah, well,
he said go back to where you came from.
And
go to another country.
3 of these women didn't come from anywhere outside the United States.
Yeah, they were born here.
in the U.S.
What he was talking about was not a race thing. He was saying, if you don't like it here, go somewhere else.
Did you see the... Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Not only was it racist, Phil, it was sexist as well. They were 3 ethnic women.
So what? Everything is racist.
Yeah.
You're racist. I'm a racist.
Hey, it wasn't racist until he said...
If you were working at any company today, you'd have been fired for that.
Yes,
No, that's
absolutely.
because people are too sensitive.
Too sensitive.
It doesn't matter.
Phil,
You would have been fired
did
for
anybody
that.
ever
And
say to
you know
you?
what this-
Did anybody ever say to you when you were growing up, "Why didn't you go back where you came from"?
Yeah,
Okay, how did you feel about that?
I like Brooklyn.
No,
So,
no. We're not joking now, Phil. We're being serious about this. How did you feel about that?
I got called Dirty Jew. They never told me to go back.
Okay, well,
I was a kid. They didn't even know there was a back.
Yeah. Well, that whole trope of go back to where you came from is a racist trope. If there's any trope which is more racist than that, I don't know of one.
Can I say that I think what's happening is this divisiveness is exactly what the Russians want to happen.
This divisiveness is exactly what Trump has
Trump's
created.
doing what the Russians want.
No. I really think it's the whole country is being manipulated by Facebook and by the Russian bots and all of this stuff. And you guys are falling for it.
You're dreaming.
Maybe the Russians are happy with it, and Trump is leading the way.
I don't think he's leading the way. I think you guys fell right into their trap.
No, Trump fell into it, and he's leading the way, and the Russians are sitting back and going, "Yeah, go for it, Trumpy."
No, they're taking everything he says out of context.
It's not out of context, Phil. I read everything he said.
We're quoting him exactly.
Phil, hold on a second, Phil. Okay. If you say take him out of context, the context he's in is 250 words in a tweet. Okay? That's his context. That's where he says what he has to say. I have read those tweets, and I'm telling you, I've never seen anything more racist.
And if he comes out and tries to defend it, maybe it's a little different, but he doesn't. He comes back out and backs it up.
If when I was at Sirius, I had written a tweet like that, okay?
Bye-bye.
I would have gotten fired.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's because everybody is overreacting.
No, it's not overreacting, Phil.
It's not an overreaction.
It's not an overreaction.
Everything that anybody does, racist this, racist that. Racist
Yeah, but how?
this,
To begin with, your guy is so stupid that he didn't know that three of these four women were from America.
They don't act like it.
Oh, Phil.
He's spent 8 years
absolutely
criticizing Obama, so he has no right to say anything about people criticizing him.
And how can he turn around and say
to this country?
What were you going to say, Kevin?
How can he turn around and put words in their mouth that they hate America when they've been
He didn't
elected?
put them in their mouths.
He did. He put it in their mouth.
I wish I did.
None of those women said they hate America.
He says they hate America.
Could they not be? Could they not be? And I think this is probably the best answer of all. Not be a bunch of women who want to make America better, okay, and want to improve it. No, Phil, come on.
They hate America.
They don't hate America, Phil. They hate the. Wait a minute. I think they hate the America that exists right now,
and
they hate the. They hate the America.
They hate Israel.
They hate.
They don't hate Jews. They hate Israel.
Omar said that Israel is evil and that the
Israeli
Jews are
government, not the
Israelis. The Israelis, Phil, not the Jews. Not the Jews.
Not the people.
I don't think they're evil.
I do.
Well, I do. Netanyahu's a crook.
Yeah,
because he got some free cigars.
I think there is nothing worse than what Israel has become, and I resent them calling themselves the Jewish state because it reflects negatively upon me.
We have a disagreement there.
Oh, a big one. A big one. You know.
Go to Israel and you can make your own decision.
Well,
if you like Israel so much, why don't you move there?
Why don't you go there?
Why don't you go back to Israel?
Why don't you go there? Have you ever been to Israel?
No, I haven't.
Then why don't you go there and then come back and tell us all this?
Because it's the Jewish homeland.
No, it's not.
It is now.
No, it's not. The Jewish homeland, oddly enough, is a diaspora spread out throughout the entire earth, which is a good place for us to be, because the last time we put ourselves all in one place, look what happened.
Yeah, well, this is a different story. These people are willing to fight. They're not going to lay down like many other past generations did and say, take me. Where's the train?
All right.
Gee, you've got the balls of a man with a prostate.
It didn't affect the balls, only the what squirts out.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that subject.
The balls are still hanging low.
All right, let's not talk about that subject. Not one I want to talk about right now. I just feel that what this president did with these tweets was unconscionable. I mean, it was so unpresidential, and it was so un-American that I just found it. stunning that even he would say this stuff. You know. So I mean, what did you feel, Charlie? I mean, you're black, okay? How'd you feel when you heard that?
I felt disgusted.
I mean, have you ever had anybody tell you to go back where you came from?
No, they told me to do other things, but not.
You know why they didn't ask you that? Because they're not as stupid as Trump, and they knew that you were from here. Okay? Yeah. I mean, Trump should have, before he even made that tweet, should have done his own homework to find out which of these women were born here, because his first tweet assumed they were not born here.
You assumed that.
No. Look, read the tweet, Phil.
He said, if you don't like it here.
No, that you're paraphrasing. Read the tweet.
Yep.
I'm looking for it.
You know,
it's hard. It's on Twitter. No, I'll never find it.
Hold on a second. I'll find it. Wait a minute. Let me look up here. What is it? Trump.
Should be right at the top of your feed if you got it there at Donald Trump.
Racist tweet.
I don't know. I pushed the button. I don't know how to use Twitter that much.
Okay, let's see here. Okay. Now listen to me. Here we go. Yeah. Here you go. So interesting to see progressive Democratic congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all. Now, did you see what he said?
Somalia.
He said these congresswomen who came from countries whose governments blah, 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 blah. He was referring to all 4 women coming from outside the United States.
Yep.
So what?
What do you mean, so what? The stupidity of it, the racism of it.
No, because the problem with that
he's assuming because they're black that they came from another
country.
And
let's say for a moment,
originally,
let's say he's not a racist. Let's just for a moment. I mean, and that is you kind of have to be stupid to not say he's a racist after what he wrote. But let's say he's not a racist. What he's doing is giving permission to other racists in his comments.
You know,
he's giving permission, Phil,
to do whatever they want to do. Just because he makes a statement doesn't make one person give them license to do what they want to do. What about Nancy Pelosi
He's
today?
giving him. He is the leader of this country. He is supposed to be the conscience of a nation. Okay.
No.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish. I am bestowing it on him, Phil, because the people look to their leaders for their morality and for their leadership. Okay. And he is giving permission to people who would like to go out and burn synagogues and burn black churches and so on, a sense of permission to do it.
You're reading into.
I'm not reading into anything. I am not saying I'm reading into anything. He's giving permission.
No, nobody filled out a permission slip and said you can go down the hall. This.
Phil, what you're doing is you're asking him to be president and not be presidential, and not do part of the job, which is being the moral compass of a country.
Well, that's not his job.
Yes, it is.
You think
that's
it is.
One of his jobs.
No, this is a different kind of president, and he doesn't.
Oh, of course, he's the first.
He doesn't govern that
Yes,
way.
you're right. He is a different president. He's the first one we've had who's a fucking racist.
Second.
I don't. Think
second. Who was the first? Scott.
Number 1.
Well, Alex, I read this today.
Yeah.
They said that right now they think Donald Trump is tied for first place with Andrew Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Andrew Jackson was a racist, but not Andrew Johnson. So I learned something today that he's tied right now as the most racist president with
I wonder how you break the tie.
Andrew Johnson was the one that got impeached.
Yeah.
Why did they
impeach? To say something right there.
They impeached him for some kind of impropriety, financial impropriety. I can't remember.
Josh probably knows.
Josh probably knows. Josh, why was Andrew Johnson impeached?
He tried to fire some cabinet members, and Congress got in an argument with him about whether or not he had the power to fire cabinet members.
Yeah.
And then they passed a law that said that he couldn't because he said he had the power. They said he didn't. So then they passed a law that said that he couldn't, and he fired him anyway. So they basically said he violated a federal law. And
does that law still exist?
I don't. I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And then they would have been in the wrong.
Well, most
anyway.
of his
the president has the right to fire.
Most of Trump's cabinet he can fire because they do not have the position of Secretary of blah blah blah. They are simply acting. And he likes that because he can fire them at will.
You know, I read an interesting thing today. They had a list of all the people that were associated with Hillary and Bill Clinton who were killed or died under suspicious circumstances.
Oh, Hillary did it. Hillary did it. I know she did. I saw her do it.
Well, anyway, I sent it to somebody, and I had put the caption on, at least Trump fires his people instead of kills them. You know?
Mm-hmm. And how many of Clinton's people went to jail?
Oh, they died. They don't get to go to jail.
They don't get collect unemployment. They just get killed.
Well, I just feel that we have a president here who is, I think, setting a bad example, and I think that what he said was what I've always heard was considered racist. When you tell somebody to go back to where they came from.
I think you're being too sensitive.
No, I'm not being too sensitive, Phil. I'm being compassionate towards my fellow man who shouldn't be treated this way.
Compassion,
he should have a little more respect for these Congress people.
And the Congress people should have a little more respect for him.
Well, today they basically said that they censured him. They did a censure on him.
What happened to Pelosi? I thought Pelosi was the one that was being censured.
Well,
today
no. Because one of your Republican assholes said that she had violated the rules of discussion by going out after somebody or whatever. So they held a vote, and of course she wasn't censured for it, and her remarks were kept in the
record.
In the record, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I sent you the list of dead. I think I sent it. Geez, now it's telling me I don't have internet. What is this? Oh, there. Where's the list of dead people? Did you get it?
Oh God, yeah, a list of.
I can't open it now.
So if Americans are all about, personal freedom and responsibility and their own decisions, I guess in this case, if you're defending his comments, have we decided now that he is the arbiter of the bar for if you don't love it, leave it? I mean, who decides whether or not you meet the criteria? It sounds like we've decided that it's Trump who writes the criteria, and if you don't meet his, you're going to fall into the if you don't love it, leave it criteria. Which
that's what
I'm saying. I mean, why does that have to be the case? I mean, so there are 3 or 4 people in Congress who vehemently disagree with the President of the United States. That's not fucking new. That's existed since there were people that didn't agree with Washington. I mean, so all of a sudden, because they don't agree with him, they're enemies of the state. I mean, that's where I start having.
I think that many of you are giving Trump a power that he isn't using, doesn't have, doesn't want. Whether it's how he acts, what he says, attributing stuff to him that is not part of his.
He has no He has no respect for the office he holds. Which which we're expected to respect. And how could you respect a man who and an office that's being handled this way?
Yeah, but I'm not giving him that power, is what I'm saying, Phil. You're giving him that power.
No,
I'm not giving it to him. I'm saying there is no standard for if you don't love it, leave it. Everyone can love or not love America as much as they want. That's the nice thing about living here. This is, I don't know, I mean, this is one of the few places in the world where you can openly go out in the street, burn the flag, and say, my government can kiss my ass and they can't haul you away somewhere, put a bullet in the back of your head, and kick you in a ditch.
And if you can, and he can say, if you don't like it here, go somewhere else.
He certainly can, but that's what I'm saying. You're supporting what he said, so you're basically, allowing him to have that kind of power. As to where I think people in your position who are supporters of his should be saying, listen, Mr. Trump, I'm a supporter of you. Why do you have to treat people who don't agree with you this way? We're winning. Why don't you focus on, our mission? Well, you got to get off on this. I mean, it's just, it's just ridiculous. I mean, that's what I don't understand about, this whole thing. I mean, if President Obama, for example, or really anyone else, but if President Obama were to have said some of these things about, a couple high-profile Republican members of Congress, who happen to be white or whatever, he would have got the angry black Negro thing put on him. It's just like
he did anyway.
That would be wrong.
Yeah. I finally got that list to open.
Yeah. I'm beginning to think if you want to talk about something the Russians have planted, that may be a good example of it.
Probably. I think the whole thing, everybody's calling everybody else a racist. I think that, people ought to just pull back a little bit and really look at it and have a discussion instead of going personally after people, racist, you're a racist, he's a racist. It sounds like you get a Buick,
Phil,
everybody's a racist.
Phil, but what the president's tweet was so out there, was so beyond the pale, Phil, that we can't do anything else but react to it. I mean, when I saw it, I went, I can't believe that he's gone this far, that he's tried to play to his base so much that he's willing to be racist about it.
I think that you're...
Phil, any
an
sensible human being... Look, I would have never said anything like that on the radio.
I wouldn't have said it either.
Because I know I'd get fired for it. Okay?
I wouldn't say it on your show.
And the President of the United States, if he says this, should be fired for it.
Because I don't think his statement was racist. I think it's being taken.
Well, then you don't know what a racist is, Phil, and that's probably because you're too fucking white.
But I often look at these things, and what disturbs me is the fact about whether or not you even agree that it's racist or not is, in some ways, to me, is irrelevant. Where it disturbs me, and I said in some ways, don't get me wrong, okay? Where it disturbs me sometimes is I sit around and think, it's just amazing to me that a president who, it's been widely reported, refuses to read, a daily highly classified national security briefing that's 5 pages long. He doesn't have time to read that. But this is the shit that he has time for. I mean, I don't understand that. I mean,
I think
be above that.
In the beginning, when he was being given those briefs, he felt that he was being manipulated by the people that were giving him those briefs.
And he has the right to put people in place that he doesn't believe are doing. I mean, it's just...
Well, he has a right, but
that's a horseshit cop-out excuse here.
That's what he said.
I mean, but there are 100 examples of things like that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's clear that this is the kind of petty stuff, that he spends his time on. I mean, that's one little tiny detail that we've gotten in the last few years out of 100 others that prove that he is so vain and so superficial that these are the types of things that occupy his day, rather than things that the President of the United States is meant to be taking care of. I mean,
I don't know. Yesterday, he was in doing a speech for Made in America Day, and he signed a proclamation about it. He's going around, and he's, granted, when he did this Made in America Day, it did sound like he was campaigning. But he's
always campaigning, Phil. He's been campaigning since the day he got elected.
Yeah.
Well, if you would have watched the movie Glenn Ross, you would have seen "Always Be Closing."
Hey! This isn't a fucking movie. This is America in a life and death throes. Okay, with a guy leading us, who is leading us into a moral abyss.
Well, but my problem here, if I were a Republican, would be kind of from this angle, okay? Because I always try to compare everything sometimes to sports because I'm such a huge sports fan. And in sports, you look at it and you look at players on the field or whatever, and you say, what is this guy doing to help me, okay? You try to build a winning organization where you say everybody in the building is going to help push our agenda of winning forward, or they're holding us back. It's a racing, thing. If you're not going faster, you're going slower. So I guess what I'm saying is, how does this kind of thing push your agenda as a Republican or as a conservative or whatever? What does this do to help achieve the goals that you want? What
are you saying the tweets or what Trump is doing?
Well, you can just go with the tweets. That's fine. I'm talking about that.
I don't think the tweets help.
In general, but we're talking specifically right now about the tweets, so that's fine.
Because
I don't think the tweets help.
And then by the way,
he's a one-man team. He's not a team player. He's a one-man team.
Right. I understand that's the answer, and I suppose my answer is, I guess those people, the overwhelming 99% majority, or not, that's more than a majority, I mean, are all going to vote for him anyway. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to rule the country in the way that you see fit, I mean, if you want to put every single idea that you got into action and make it all happen and die thinking you fixed the entire world, you have got to get more than just the 40% of people that consider themselves flat-out hardcore Republicans, because the other half of the country is Democratic, so they're already against. So that's what I'm saying. How does this kind of stuff help you do that? I mean, it's a waste of his fucking time. Again, even if you agree with it, it's a fucking waste of time.
Like getting high.
Yeah, you had your hand up, Tony.
Yeah, I'm laughing at my mother. She's yelling at the TV watching the Met game. She just called him a fuck. I can picture.
That is racist, Tony. That's racist.
Phil, you know something? You know what I'm upset with you here? Is you making light of this racist... Let me finish, Phil. Please, without interrupting me.
All right.
That you make light and think it's funny, and that you take this lightly, and we just don't understand because we're just being oversensitive about it being racist. Look, if there's a guy I don't think is overly sensitive, it's Charlie. And Charlie, I'm sure you feel it's racist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Charlie also feels it's Trump.
No. Well, but you can't just say that, Phil, because that's like saying, I mean...
That's racist against Trump.
You know, you would have gotten down Obama's throat faster for something else that wasn't even in the ballpark with this thing.
Stuff like that doesn't bother me.
Well, I know, but it should, Phil, if you had a conscience. The fact is, your problem is you're too fucking white. And you don't understand.
Like
and by the way, your Jewishness, for some reason, has not made you a more empathetic person.
No, because I'm not willing to lay down.
Because you're a shanda for the goyim.
No, we've been giving away this country long enough. Trump has said America first. He's going to bring back jobs. He's going to make the economy better, and he's going to cut deals that are better for this country, not other countries.
Yeah, because he was such a great businessman.
Well, it doesn't matter. He is now.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. What deal has he made with China? He has completely caved in on China.
They're still negotiating.
He completely caved in on China. He completely caved in on China, Phil.
Their economy is dropping.
He
right
caved.
Now. It went from 6.8 to 6.2.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't
GDP.
matter, Phil. This may be something just happening around the world. The point is that he caved on China.
He didn't cave.
But I'm just saying.
Yes, he did.
But I'm back to asking you though, if that's what you're saying and you believe that, I'm just back to asking you, what does having this kind of stuff dominate the news cycle for 72 hours? How does that further that agenda? I've never challenged you that you believe in his agenda. I don't argue those kinds of things with people. You're allowed. What does this do to further that agenda?
Well, it's the news cycle is decided by those media outlets, and they're the ones.
There we
that
go.
are
That
And he hasn't learned that by now. He
Well, that's
hasn't
what he
said,
uses
wow,
these.
if I say this dumb shit, they talk about nothing but that for 3 fucking days, and that takes away from what I want to talk about.
Let me.
I should stop saying dumb shit.
Let me wait a minute. Hold on a second, Phil. Let me proffer this opinion that he does something like this to turn your attention away from something else.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, and that he uses it as a diversion. It's like a magician uses diversion so he can pull the trick and not have you see how it's done.
Epstein.
Huh?
Like Epstein.
I think the Democrats are going to go down with Epstein.
No.
And if you think that he does that for that reason, that means to me that you are approving legislation or furthering your agenda by, trickery and underhanded moves, by distraction, so I can sneak these things in. And if that isn't the most un-American and non-democratic thing that a person could support in this country, then I don't know what is. That's why I don't understand how people within your own party can support these types of tactics and these type of statements and this type of nonsense. Why you guys can't just say, what? We want our cake and we want to eat it too. We want to be Republicans, we want to be conservatives, and we want to get someone in there who can do it with integrity.
For years, the Democrats have been attacking Republicans, and the Republicans did nothing about it. They didn't say a word. Trump is the first one that if you hit him, he hits back. And if you don't like it, that's just tough. That's the way he is.
Can you
don't
give us
hit
an
him,
example
and he
of the
won't hit
attack?
back.
Okay, let Scott say what Scott?
Can you give us an example of when we attacked the Republicans? I'm not aware of these.
Trump, when you attack Trump.
No, you said when the Democrats attacked
Romney, for instance. Joe Biden said that Romney was going to have the noose around black people's neck. Do you remember that? When he was campaigning, and Biden, it was Biden versus Romney at that point. And in a thing, and Biden said that that if you voted for Romney, black people, and I think it was an NAACP thing, that Romney would have a noose around their neck. And you know what Romney did? He did nothing. He just took it. And Romney's not a racist, but they pulled the race card in that situation. So. And that's just one example of the many times they've attacked.
Phil,
Biden never doing that.
I don't have his name here right now because I had it on my iPhone, but unfortunately I left my iPhone in the other room.
Dog ate my homework.
But if you want to say, let's ask the man who owns one what his opinion is. There's a guy who was the head of the Nazi Party and the Nazi contingent in what was the town down south? Charlottesville. Okay.
Yeah.
He came out today and said, unfortunately, the president's tweets were racist.
That's his opinion.
But he should know
better.
He's a fucking Nazi, and he thought it was racist.
Well, maybe he's dating a Democratic gal.
See, now you make a joke out of everything.
Well, what else can you do?
No, he was.
What you can do is start taking this seriously because your nation is at stake, Phil. The life of your nation
my nation's been at stake for the last 2 or 3 presidents that have been giving it away.
And now we have one that has turned it into almost into a pre-Nazi Germany.
Nah, you're making.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Scott agreed with me. What Scott say? What you were going to say? And then Jeff.
Well, I was going to say that Scaramucci, the Mooch, came out and said it was racist also.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was a lot of people that did. I think
look, Phil, let other people talk here. Yes, Jeff has his hand up. Yes, Jeff.
I think there are 4 Republican congressmen who today said that they thought that Trump is acting like a racist.
Yes. And one of them was Mitt Romney, by the way.
Oh, Mitt Romney doesn't like Trump, and number one, and number two,
the fish.
the 4 Congress people were ones that their districts were in jeopardy. And if they wanted to get reelected,
You're looking for excuses, Phil. We're telling you people that have come out against him that aren't in the mainstream of people who would normally come out against him. There was even one guy, some guy from California, I can't remember his name, who was getting up to defend Trump today. And he said, we're fighting socialism to save democracy, as though you equate socialism with democracy when the two have nothing to do with each other. Yes, Phil, what are you looking up?
The hanging statement.
I couldn't find it.
I'm looking.
What hanging statement? What?
Biden's.
Biden said that about Romney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking.
But Romney today came out unequivocally.
In chains. Biden tells African American. It's CBS. Biden tells African American audience GOP ticket would put them back in chains. And in 2012, Romney campaign says Biden changed comments. Let me get past this thing. Fucking iPhone. So Biden told a diverse crowd here, including many African Americans, that presumptive Republican nominee Mitt Romney would put you all back in chains by unshackling Wall Street. Biden told more than 800 ticketed supporters.
Wait a minute, Phil. Those are two different statements. One is referring to the economics and to big business, and the other is referring to actually putting black people back in chains. No.
Yeah, it's going to put blacks in chains. That's racist.
No, that statement. No, that's not racist.
I think I'm surprised.
That's not racist, Phil. Okay. If I admit that's racist, will you admit that what Trump said was racist?
No.
Okay, then fuck you.
Well, but even if you think it is, and even if you think it is, and you're a supporter of Joe Biden like I am, then just say what he said is wrong. I don't agree with that. He shouldn't do that. And my second point to that would be, if Joe Biden said it, and it said something that you think is racist, so what? Now that's permission for Donald Trump to say things that are racist? It's okay? So if you're the freeway patrolman and you pull over a guy for speeding and you say, sir, I pulled you over for doing 70 and a 55, and he says, well, yeah, but that other guy was going 72 and he passed right by me, and you were a police officer, did you ever... Oh, well, then you can go now. It's okay.
No.
I mean, give me a fucking break.
What happens is I caught you. The other guy got away. That's the deal.
Well, but they were both still wrong. And what you're saying is, Joe Biden said it, so it's fine.
I can only grab one at a time. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wouldn't let the guy go unless I knew him. But this is in quotes. Put you all back in chains. Put you all back in chains.
But how are you equating that with Romney saying that about Wall Street?
That is a racist statement.
No, but no. How you?
And you think Romney is a racist?
Well, he wasn't making a racist statement. He was talking about Wall Street and about big business.
No. He was.
What did he say? What did he say?
Using the race card.
What did he say? What did he say? What did Romney say?
Romney didn't say anything. That's the problem.
No. You said that Romney said something when he's running for president.
No, Biden said it. Biden said it.
But you said that Romney said something.
No. He said it about Romney. I'll send it to you.
He said what about Romney?
That he would put blacks in chains. If you voted for him.
Wait a minute. When did Romney say who would put...
2012.
Okay, but did he say that... Biden. Wait a minute. Did he say that today about Trump?
Who? Romney?
No, Biden.
Biden? Yeah. I don't know what he said about Trump. Biden's got his own problems.
Well, wait a minute. You know? Why are you going back to something that went on with Romney?
Back in 2012, he's digging.
Charlie challenged me and said, I have never seen Democrats attack Republicans and them not answer with another attack.
No, that isn't. Wait a minute, that isn't what Charlie said at all. Tell him what you said, yes. Charlie. What did
No,
you say?
I said it.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about not believing
you said it,
Republicans
Scott?
got attacked.
Oh, Scott said it. So I found.
Gee, you
an
can't even get your
instance-
quotes right.
It don't matter. I found an instance where that supported what I said. You know, and there are many others. The Republicans never fought back. They would say, "Oh, well, we don't want to go there. You know, we don't want to lower ourselves to those kinds of accusations." And so they didn't do anything. Trump is a street fighter. You punch Trump, he's going to punch back. And for the first time, the Democrats are getting punched back.
Wait a minute.
and they
Wait a
don't
minute.
know
Hold
what
on
to
a
do with
second.
it.
Hold
So
on
you
a second.
use the
Hold on a
race card.
second, Phil.
You use
Phil,
the
Phil,
race card.
shut up now. Okay? For a little bit, let other people talk. All right?
No problem.
Okay.
I sent you the article.
Yeah, fine. I'll read it when I have a chance. I'll do exactly what Trump does. It'll be on my desk for a week.
His desk is clean.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the whole thing is, I think, disgusting and objectionable to me, and I think it's going to be objectionable to a lot of voters too. I think
We'll see.
Hmm?
We'll see.
No, I think that, he will appeal to the white racist in this country. He will. They'll vote for him. They'll get out for him. All the guys wearing the fucking hat, you know?
I don't think there's enough of them to. I think you're going to get more black votes. You're going to get more.
Oh, he's going to,
Hispanic
after
votes.
this, he's going to get black votes? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, because they're tired of being lied to.
Mhm.
You listen to Candace Owens.
Oh God, cancel.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you know they're tired of being lied to.
You guys always
you
bring up
didn't hit
them
the
black people. Like,
dispensary when
there's
you were
always
out
like
there?
the one black person.
You know that,
Are you
I might be
sure you
blacker
didn't
than
hit the dispensary out there?
Yeah, well, you know that Hispanic home ownership is at the highest it's ever been.
He's
that-
high.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Woo.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the economy is good, and it's really tough to defeat a guy when the economy is good.
Economy's not good for the average person.
I don't know about that. You know, I'm sure, you know, because we're sitting around on Gabnet, we're, you know, except for Scott and Jeff, we're, you know, we're more the average person,
What?
Ah, boy.
income-wise.
Not average?
Yeah.
No, you're not average.
Why not?
Well, because
White.
everybody else is unemployed.
Well, I don't work it.
I know, but you don't have to. You were smart.
Anyway, let me see here. Where are we? Okay, I'm trying to figure out why I'm having a problem here doing switching. Oh well, that's it. There was one other thing. Oh yeah, so today this guy from California in defending Trump
So his
equated.
last name start with an M?
I think so.
McCarthy?
Yeah, that's the asshole. He's a fucking
He's
piece of shit.
he's the House. He's the equivalent of Pelosi for the Republicans.
Oh, Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Minority leader.
minority leader.
minority leader. That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, so he, you know, I mean, he's amazing. He's just amazing.
Idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Well, he's a minority. You're going after him because that's racist.
No, we're not being racist, Phil.
Yeah, he's
Idiot.
a minority. Minority speaker.
Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, he equated socialism as being the enemy of democracy, and I went,
So did Trump.
well, that's an idiotic statement. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, this was years ago when I was in college, at City College of San Francisco. It wasn't really college; it was a pretend college.
It was a socialist haven.
Yeah. We had a teacher who said, okay, I want you to read chapter 8, and then tomorrow we'll discuss it. And so I read chapter 8, and chapter 8 was called Communism versus Democracy. And the next day I went in, and she said, any comments? I raised my hand, and she said, yes, Bennett, what's your comment? He said, it's stupid. It's stupid to be in a textbook that we're trying to learn from. I said, because it's a fallacious statement. You can't compare communism to democracy. And she said, well, why? I said, because communism is an economic form, and democracy is the relationship of the government to the people. I said, the two, you could have a communist democracy. And she said, you're wrong. Next. And since then, I've become very sensitive to people who do that sort of thing and say that, oh, socialism is the enemy of democracy. But it's not. It has nothing to do with fighting democracy.
Isn't it the enemy of capitalism?
You can have a socialistic democracy. You know?
I thought it was capitalism versus socialism and versus communism.
Well, communism versus socialism would be a good argument. Okay. A democracy versus totalitarianism would be a good argument, but not socialism versus democracy. I'm sorry. It's just they're not the enemies of each other. There are a lot of socialistic democracies in this world.
Except socialism is evil.
No, it's not evil, Phil.
Yeah, it takes away your...
Bullshit. What it does is it allows people to have some of the basics of life available to them, such as doctors and things like that, that they wouldn't normally be able to have here in America. Here in America, if you don't have enough money, I'm sorry, you die. You just die. You know, you went and got your prostate taken care of. There's some people who can't afford to have their prostate taken care of, Phil.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean,
but if that was the case, they'd be on Medi-Cal or Medi-Cal.
And by the way, you know, I've been against Biden during this whole thing until just last week, when Biden came up with his medical plan, in which
you can keep your doctor.
Well, what it is that he says it's Obamacare, but it's Obamacare on steroids, in which you get free medical and so on and so forth, but you get to keep your doctor. It's all within the doctoring system. He said he didn't want to radically alter it by doing Medicare for all, because that's not something people could wrap the concept around. And he came out with a fairly decent plan. I mean, it was something I could live with. Did you hear it, Charlie, at all?
No.
Anybody here hear it?
I did. It was the same lie that Obama.
No, I don't want to hear what you think of it. Yeah, Jeff, did you hear it?
I heard it.
Did you hear it?
No.
Did you hear it,
No.
Scott?
No, I did not.
Who said they heard it?
I did.
I don't want to hear if you heard it, Phil, because you're interpreting.
Well, you asked who.
I already asked you, and you said you, and I said we don't want your opinion on this one.
All right.
Yeah. People should check it out. It's kind of an interesting take on the whole thing, and not necessarily throwing in with.
Does it cover everybody?
Yes. Yeah.
With health insurance companies?
Well, you know what we got to do? Here's where we got to bite the bullet on this whole situation with what do you call it? With Medicare, with a single payer health system. Is we at some point we're going to have to say fuck you to the insurance companies.
Yeah.
Now, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, because up until I think maybe the 70s, insurance companies were not for profit. They weren't allowed to be for profit. And so therefore the insurance costs were very cheap.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with putting these guys out of business. They've had a run. You know, they got it handed to them on a silver platter by the Republicans back in the 70s. And it's time for them to go back into the corner and lick their balls.
Do you think the labor unions that invest their funds for retirement in these kinds of companies are going to go along with abolishing them?
Do you know that the unions invest in insurance companies?
Of course they do.
No, you
They're
say
very
of course.
profitable.
You say of course, but do they?
Yeah.
Tell me a labor union that does.
The cop one. You know, what do they call it? PERS. PERS. It's police retirement funds. And most unions.
Wait a minute. Okay, so who do they invest in particular?
Well, they
You should-
invest in, I would think, State Farm.
No, I
and-
don't.
and a
I'm not
number of other
asking you to say
companies.
I think.
Well, I don't know because.
Well, then you
I
don't know that
run a
they do
fund.
invest. You don't know that they do invest
Oh,
in the insurance
you're
companies.
splitting hairs again.
No, I'm not splitting hairs. You
You-
said
you-
something. I'm asking you to prove it.
You know, if you look, where
Do you
go
think? Do you
to
think
find
maybe?
out
Do you
what
think they?
funds
Do you
the
think they
union
invest
buys?
in Apple?
Sure.
Okay. Do you think they invest in
I think they
Google?
invest in all of it.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is it's not like they're going to be mad if the insurance companies go away because they can take their money and put it somewhere else, right?
Not if they go out of business and they lose that investment.
Well, you
Don't
get
you-
out of it.
you know-
You get out of it before that happens.
Well, that's easy for you to say, but they can't. Sometimes you're
No,
you're-
their job is to administer a investment portfolio that will be lucrative to them, and if they see that the insurance companies are going to be in trouble, they get out of that.
I don't think it's that easy.
What?
I
You
think that
sell,
people-
Phil. You sell.
When you sell, somebody has to buy it, and when when it's a fire sale, the price goes down.
Phil,
you lose
Phil,
money.
the believe it or not, the unions are not going to fight the killing of the insurance companies.
We'll see. They fight everything else.
Well, because they're paying a fortune, and it's costing them a lot of money to insure their members.
Yeah, and it's gone up because of Obamacare.
No, it hasn't.
Oh boy.
The
It's
cost of
tripled.
insurance has gone down under
It's
the Affordable
tripled.
Care Act.
It's tripled.
It's
And-
gone down. It
and-
was going up exponentially before the ACA.
Yeah, because they knew the ACA was coming, and they were raising the prices to anticipate it. And also, if you try to use Obamacare,
There was only one thing wrong with
big
Obamacare.
deductibles.
There was only one thing wrong with Obamacare, Phil, and that was the fact that it was created so Republicans would be happy.
Yeah.
And if they were going to be happy with a medical plan, it wasn't going to be as effective as it should be.
Well, I don't think they were happy with it either, because what Pelosi said is just vote for it. You don't have to read what's in there. Just vote for it. That's what she said. She said, because nobody read it. They just slammed
Nobody
it down the
read
throats.
Trump's tax plan.
And Trump's tax plan is actually working, and costing
yeah,
people
right.
less in taxes.
It's costing people less in taxes, but we had the biggest deficit, 1 month deficit in the history of the United States.
They just raised the spending limits. That's what they're voting on now in the Congress.
Something they typically damn near refuse to do under President Obama time after time after time, by
Yeah.
the way.
And
Didn't
they
seem
pretty
to have any
much,
problems this time.
well, that's because they won't be able to pay the bills, and they don't want another government shutdown.
Well, that wasn't the argument when they didn't want to raise it under President Obama.
Well, they
That-
did.
Not because of anything. It's because of their hypocritical fucking people
It went from 15 to
playing a
19
game
trillion.
for power
The
and money.
The deficit went from 15 to 19 trillion under Obama.
Yeah, and it's
So
up
they
to
must have
it's up to
raised
22
Yeah,
trillion
it's gone
under.
to 21 trillion now under
I think it's
2
22.
years under Trump.
I think
I mean,
22.
I would have some. There would be some credence in that statement if you were upset at the fact that it was still going up.
Well,
Well,
You wanted to make it go down, but you don't. So.
well, I guess I got to trust that they're spending to.
No,
to
what's
prime
happening
the
and
pump.
what's happening is Trump is spending like a drunken sailor. Okay?
What's
I
he
mean,
doing?
he
He's
doesn't
paying for the
look at what
military?
he's doing on the border. How much is that costing us?
Well, those people are there anyway, and 4.6 billion just went to buy diapers and formula and toilets that are
Oh,
connected
gee.
to sinks.
God forbid we should buy toilets and buy diapers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they'd fix the loopholes that allow people to not seek asylum in the country that they
Fuck it.
first
I
go
can't
into.
stand this anymore. I really
Yeah.
can't stand this anymore. You're
Actually, if the government weren't holding those people, they would enter the country and buy their own toilets.
I'm going to say something you will understand, Phil. As one Jew to another, I cannot stand your insensitivity towards the human race. Okay?
Well, I don't think I'm insensitive.
You are not a good Jew. In fact, you're a terrible Jew.
Well, thank you. But I'm an American first.
Yeah? You know what I am?
A socialist.
No.
And anti-Trump.
Huh?
Anti-Trump. If Trump.
Well, you're
came
saying
out
all
with
the
some-
obvious things I am.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay, circumcised. I don't know. What else are you?
I'm a citizen of this planet. And I live on it with a bunch of other people. And especially in the next 4 days, we should remember about our first jump out of the crib into space and the fact that we are so fucking insignificant in this universe that we shouldn't be taking ourselves this seriously.
In a lot of ways.
What do you mean in a lot of ways? In any way?
You take Trump too seriously. You know.
No. You know what the problem is? Trump takes himself too seriously.
Way too serious.
Way too serious.
Then you're allowing that to affect you.
No, it's not that I'm allowing it to affect me. All I know is that we are just a mere speck in this universe. And who knows? We may be the seed planet. We don't know that. But if we are, we owe it to the rest of the universe to be better than we are right now. And if we are the way we are right now, we don't deserve to leave this planet.
Sometimes you got to worry about the people that
I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear your bogus philosophy, Phil.
All right.
I mean, it makes me feel so terrible that you call yourself a Jew, but you don't act like one.
Well, what does a Jew act like?
Compassionate, Phil.
Well, I think I am compassionate.
Well, you aren't.
I want to worry
when you
about,
make some kind of
people
we
first.
make some kind of statement about when I said you could afford a prostate operation but other people can't, you just kind of sloughed it off like it was nothing, like you couldn't have compassion for another human being.
Hey, I agreed, but I also said
that you don't want any form of socialism, even though it might benefit people who have nothing.
No, there are forms of socialism that we have that are already in place, and I said Medicaid is one way. If a guy has cancer and doesn't have the money,
but the people with your philosophy would like to kill Medicaid. They would like to kill Medicare.
Yeah. Whether you'd like to or not, it doesn't matter. That's supposition. It's there, and people use it. And you're not going to be able to kill any of those programs. You're not even going to be able to kill Obamacare.
Oh, listen, I think that our president is capable of killing just about anything.
No, because the only way he can kill it is maybe for another 6 years.
He thinks he can write everything away with a presidential whatever.
In 6 years, when the next guy comes in, let's say it's Romney in 6 years. All right, that Trump gets reelected, and Trump can continue to write all of these things, and then Romney comes in and says, "I'm going to undo everything Trump did because I don't like Trump." It doesn't even have to be a Democrat that goes in there. There'll be somebody that will walk in there. And
the biggest danger to America, the biggest danger to our freedom, the biggest danger to our future, is Donald Trump. This man has to be stopped.
I don't agree with you.
Well, I know you don't agree with me, Phil. Why did you even have to say that?
Because it's par for the course. Get your 2 cents in.
Anybody else want to put their 2 cents worth in here?
I agree with you.
What?
Of course.
Trump is the greatest danger to the United States as we know it.
He is the biggest enemy of democracy that I know of. I don't think we've had a greater threat since, dare I say, Hitler?
Then go back to where you came from.
San Francisco?
Yeah, Marin.
It's too expensive there. I'm sorry.
Marin, you fit right in.
Yeah.
Everybody in Marin's like-minded like you.
Really? Are they all?
Yeah.
Every last one of them. I can't believe.
Every last
I
one.
can't believe there aren't a lot of Republicans in Marin.
They don't admit it.
Well, no, but I can't believe there aren't a lot of Republicans in Marin. It's a very affluent.
There probably are, but most of them are afraid to wear the hat or walk in the street.
Well, they don't want to wear the hat because it looks ugly.
It is a cheap hat.
It is a cheap fucking
Well,
hat.
Tony knows about hats.
Made in China anyway.
Yeah. You know, I mean, come on.
Yeah. I got some training in Area 51 back in the early 90s. And it's just a base. I went there. We did pistol and SWAT training, and we had to wear. We couldn't wear our police uniforms. We had to wear all black with no patches because we were also allowed to eat in the cafeteria, and there was no Martians. There were no UFOs. It's just a base, and they got secret stuff there. Planes,
I know.
stuff like that.
I never thought that there was.
Yeah,
there were Martians there. I think that our whole obsession with being visited by people from outer space is very egotistical. You know.
You didn't mention tonight?
What?
Tonight's the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
I just mentioned it.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My mother drove me crazy. I didn't hear it.
No, I mentioned it while you were sitting there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the 19th was when we landed.
No, the 20th.
No, that was when he got out of the ship and walked on.
Oh, okay. So,
in what time zone? Greenwich Mean?
I wish we would go back.
Yeah, the rocket took off.
I'm talking about Chicago's time zone.
The rocket took off today, and it wound up on the moon on the 20th, and that's when he walked on the moon. I was watching a documentary, the great you got to watch this thing, Chasing the Moon on PBS. Did you see it, Charlie? It's
no, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, it is terrific. I mean, there's stories that, do you ever wonder how they pooped in space? Well, they tell you the story here. I think it's Borman who says that they had this looked like a top hat, and it had a lining in it, and then you would put your ass there and take a shit, okay, and then you would quickly close the thing and I don't know, stow it somewhere,
diapers.
Yeah,
you think they use diapers?
And Borman said that he hated the idea and would not allow himself to take a shit for the entire trip. And when he got back to Earth, he said he asked people, "Can you get me to a bathroom fast? Because I haven't taken a crap since the beginning of the thing." In fact, wait a minute, let me finish the story, Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Go ahead. What were you going to say that was so important?
I did the same thing on the plane today. I wouldn't take a shit on the plane until I got to the hotel.
Well, that was certainly top what
Take
I
it a
had
movie.
to say. Would you like me to finish the story, everybody?
Yeah, I was wondering how they did the poop.
No, so he said he didn't take a shit for the whole trip. He said, I hold the record for the most miles without taking a crap of 750,000 miles without a crap. God. Yeah.
That's gotta be
so that was the story. One of the stories they told. There are quite a few others, and it's really a very interesting documentary. But anyway, it's time to hit the theme. There we go.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wow.
Did you watch the one on Miami I sent you?
No. Anyway, that's about it for this evening. I thank everybody for being with me. Scott, thank you for waiting patiently and quietly in the dark. Charlie Wallace, thank you for being here to give us a black perspective on our racist president. Josh, always nice to have you here. Always intelligent comments to counter those of unintelligent comments on the panel. Jeff, thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Phil. And finally, thank you, Kevin, for being with us. If all of you would just give a big wave goodbye, I'll wave back at you. Okay, and there we go. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll be back here again tomorrow night. Let me just get rid of the citizen panel here so the next show can use the Skype lines. There we go. Make myself invisible, turn myself off. There we go. Okay, anyway, that's it for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow night. No Damien this week, but at 8:30 tomorrow night, Franchise MC with his little sports program, which will go on at 8:30. We'll see you again at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.